Welcome to Season 5, Episode 15 of the Family Travel Australia podcast. We are Paul, Katie and Jasper from the Feel Good family. Join us as we explore this great country, Australia, its people, places and cultures.
Yes, welcome to the Family Travel Podcast, where we share the latest in RV industry news, road trip travel, caravanning, camping, product reviews, where to stay, what to do, and so much more. Thanks for joining us again.
Woohoo! Yeah, I tell you what, we're excited because we've got our mini-series in our Season 5. It is called Lessons from a Lap Year. This is part 2 of a 3-part installment. Last week, of course, we covered off purchasing, planning and preparation. And, of course, after 80,000 kilometres, 2.5 years living full-time travelling in this incredible country, Australia, we've got a lot to share.
Oh, wasn't it amazing when we actually started to pen all of these ideas and these thoughts and suggestions and mistakes that we've made and learnt along the way out? It was incredible, really, to look down onto that piece of paper and see all of those things that we have learnt. And look, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, whether you are a green nomad like we were, total newbie, no idea what you're doing, or whether you are a grey nomad and you've been travelling around this fine country of ours. This information, the detail that we are sharing in this mini-series, it is going to add value to your experience no matter what stage of travel you are in.
Okay, we're also going to give a quick plug to our ebook, the Road Trip Ready Pack. It is your ultimate guide. Look, we spent those planning almost 2 years searching the internet, watching YouTube, trying to find checklists, trying to find resources, and they're all out there, but they're all over the place. You've got to really search to get good information.
Yeah, you really do. And I know that's frustrating for a lot of people. It certainly was for us when we were in those planning stages. The comments that we've received off the back of last week's episodes, you know, people saying, this is the episode I needed to listen to and watch before we set off on the road. And that's exactly how we feel. So we are excited about having all of this information in the one place in this huge ebook that is going to be such a fantastic resource and something that you'll be able to refer to time and time again, you know, across your travels. So we're really excited to release that next week. Thank you for being patient with us. We are madly doing the final touches to it.
Not we, honestly. Katie is doing it all. And then every now and then she goes, can you check this? And I'm like, yeah. And then, oh, here, why don't you throw that in as well? So it is blown out. I mean, it's got all your checklists, blank checklists, so you can create your own apps, maps, resources, our favourite foodie recipes, whether that's on the Weber or just travelling tips for some really great food as well. It's all in there. It's jam-packed.
It is. It's actually been really interesting. I keep saying to Paul, the more I create, the more information I put in, the more I think, oh my goodness, then we need to add this and we need to add that. So it's a growing beast, but it will be awesome and it'll be something that we refer to time and time again as well. So very excited about that. Available on our website in 1 week's time.
All right, we are going to get into it. I'll get rid of those notes and move to these notes. There's so many. All right, this episode, number 2 of a 3-part mini-series is gear, must-haves, safety and security. Isn't that a big one? It was huge for us, the safety and the security. You know, is our van going to get stolen? Are we going to, get, wolf creeked by someone?
Oh gosh, you don't want to get wolf creeked, that's for sure. Look, I think the fear of the unknown, especially if you are new and you are setting off, there are so many unknowns and that plays in the back of your mind, and so that does raise a lot of concerns. What's great about this safety and security segment is we cover off everything from keeping your van, your RV, your rig safe, to keeping your family safe, to, your well-being while you're on the road as well. So it covers off a whole heap of things. Let's get into it. There's so much.
All right, we started last episode with a quote. We will give you this one this week. It is fantastic. It really sums it up. You are more likely to regret the things you didn't do than the things you do.
Yes.
Bit of a Mark Twain one.
Oh, you've got to love Mark Twain quotes, and don't they just get you in that spot where you think, yeah, you know what, that is so, so true. Look, we have never met a traveller on the road who has said to us, geez, I regret making this decision. Whether that's
Right.
whether they're off just for a few weeks or whether they are, on the road full time. We've never met anybody with that regret. We've met plenty of people who said to us, geez, we regret that we didn't do this sooner.
With our kids.
Yeah, or we didn't do it with our kids when they were little.
Yeah.
So don't let the fear of the unknown, because there's so many, and that's life. That's life in general. Don't let the fear of the unknown stop you from taking steps towards that dream of yours. We've got one life, people. We are here for such a short time.
That's right. It ain't a rehearsal. And I think this particular episode is going to take away some of those fears as well.
Yes, yeah, that is
preparation.
for sure.
Prior preparation prevents poor performance. God, didn't I get that drummed into me when I was younger? All right.
Now look, it's paying off now.
Here we go. All right. Gear, you don't need it all. Very
No.
good. We've talked about this many a times.
Yeah, that is so true. And look, you're probably going to think that you do need it all, you want it all before you set off, but let's be realistic here. It costs a lot of money. It's a big investment. You've just made a big investment no matter what.
It weighs a lot.
Yeah, it does. It does. So today we are talking about your basic setup gear, okay? Let's remove all of the fancy things, the gear envy that you might have when you watch other YouTubers or you see other people out there camping. Let's talk about the absolute basics. What do you need to get on the road to get those wheels moving?
And we'll probably go down this list fairly quickly because if you're out there, you're a seasoned traveller or already been around the country or a few months in, these are pretty obvious, but they're absolute necessities.
Yes.
All right, we've got our chocks, ramps, and our jockey.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, your wheel chocks are probably one of the most important safety items that you are going to have, and you will use them every single time you unhitch your van.
We just had a comment back from a viewer, I think called Travel Solo, and he said, chocks, great idea. I didn't chock my camper trailer down there by the Murray, and off it rolled while everyone cheered on, and I was racing after it, red-faced. Stopped about 6 metres from the water, thankfully, and we wrote back and said, red-faced, better than a wet camper.
Yes, most certainly.
Wow.
Very, very important pieces of gear. With your jockey, there are a few different options out there. I mean, you have your standard jockey wheel that will undoubtedly come with the purchase of your caravan. We've upgraded ours to a hydraulic
Trailer mate.
Yes, which is really fantastic. We got tipped off by some
Peter,
some seasoned travellers in their golden years who suggested to us that this would save a little bit of the heavy lifting. It would also save you back a little bit, and it's been fantastic, hasn't it?
So fantastic, and comes with a flat base, so then you can put extra blocks under there. Very easy to use and a little bit safer, a little less, I guess, pressure on you yourself. So a bit better if you've got a few physical ailments. There is another one out there. I think it's called a blackjack.
A blackjack. Yeah, look, plenty of options. So do check that out depending on your individual needs. Hey, another little tip that Paul uses all the time is just having a foam pad. Now, this could just be a tiny little square. I think we actually cut up one of Jasper's foam mats that we used to lay down for him when he was little. It's a knee saver. You're going to be doing lots of bending, getting down, doing up your chains and bits and bobs like that. So just have one of those. They don't weigh anything.
I tell you, it is absolutely saved. All of those different things, whether it's gravel or grass or muddy or wet, perfect.
Yep, fantastic. Okay, one of our favourite products on the road, it is a must-have. It is your Ground Dogs awning anchor kit. You want to make sure that you are securing your awning, and it definitely forms up part of your basic setup gear requirements.
And in our YouTube episode on our must-haves, there is a great review on this particular product. Otherwise, you can visit our gear page, thefeelgoodfamily.com/gear, to see all of the gear that we love and can vouch for.
Yes, tried and tested.
Fantastic.
Great Aussie product.
Okay, now we're on to flat out hoses. Of course, you're going to need some fresh water hoses. Make sure they're food grade. Flat out international hoses. They're an Australian company, Australian made. Amazing. We've had our hose for almost 18 months. You can wind it up, almost like flat packs down.
Yeah, talk about a piece of gear that gets your neighbours over talking. Anytime Paul is out there winding up the flat-out hose on the reel, we have people coming over checking out, what's that, mate? What do you got there?
They also have a sullage hose, a black hose for your grey water. We've only just received that. I will give it a proper review. Fantastic. And another good tip on hoses as well is to have a couple of different length hoses. So have a 2 or 3 metre hose as well, because if the RV gods are smiling on you, sometimes you can pull up to a tap and it's on the right side of the van or on the right side for wherever your connectors are. So you don't need to put out that 25 metre hose. You can just hook it up right there. Love that.
Great little tip. Okay, now we don't have a grey water tank installed on our caravan. We picked ourselves up a portable, it's a Fiamma 40-litre grey water tank. We got that in the middle of nowhere, and
it was in the Pilbara, I think.
Yeah, it definitely was in WA. We picked it up specifically because we wanted to go to one campsite that required you to collect your grey water. And look, there are quite a few of them popping up around the country, a small percentage of campsites that do require you to be fully self-contained in every way of that meaning.
Yeah, there won't be any drop toilets, no showers, and obviously no potable water. So, yeah, completely self-sufficient.
Yes, and catching your grey water, which means no running out onto the ground. So if you don't have one installed on your van, it is a great idea to get a portable. Look, we were a bit surprised at the price, but we were also very remote.
Look, at remote prices in remote places, you can get the Fiamma for under $200. I think about $186 is the best value I've seen.
Online.
And we paid $285 out there in the Pilbara.
Yeah, gotta love that. But anyway, it has definitely paid off. We did get to go to that amazing campsite that was in Cossack in WA, and we've since used it at a number of other campsites as well. So well worth its money.
All right, Max Tracks. We love this product. We've only used them once.
Yeah, but hey, wouldn't you rather have them and never use them than not have them and need them?
That's right. We even, again, back to the Pilbara, met a guy who went off. He's got Max Tracks. 5 hours later, somebody finally saved him. He'd got bogged and he'd left the Max Tracks on the caravan.
Yeah. Look, it's a really good tip. Have them with you. If you don't know what Max Tracks are, they're vehicle recovery boards. So if you're going to be getting off the beaten track, onto the beach, into the mud, onto some of those dirt and corrugated roads, you're going to need these for sure.
Some really great feedback and ideas that we did get as far as comments to Max Tracks is that if you don't have Max Tracks or recovery kit like that, you can use rolled up towels.
If you're on the beach, you'll have beach towels.
If you're out in a farm area, a bit muddy, you can use Hessian sacks as well. So those 2 items could save you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Great tips. Thank you, guys. I'm going to pop those into the ebook as well, I think.
All right, leveling tips. Now, let's talk about the ramps. We use our ramps every other day. We are really particular about getting a good night's sleep and having the van in a perfect position. We'd like to have it slightly raised. We've got a north-south facing bed, island bed, and so we have our heads just, like a few millimetres higher than our feet, I guess.
Yeah.
So to be able to get your van level is super important for a good night's rest.
Yeah, it is, and especially if you're setting up for, a few days or more, you want to be in a flat, stable position. It amazes us, actually, at how many we people, and probably holiday makers who are, maybe out in a rental, who will just settle for something that's not nice and flat. But anyways,
just roll over onto each other. Hello.
Or maybe it's intentional. Get yourself a good quality spirit level. Now, we always use our spirit level, and we would suggest, even if you've got the fancy leveling technology on your rig, still have just a good old spirit level that you can pop on the floor in your RV and check those levels. I think we're getting pretty good at leveling up now.
We've
done it enough.
Do you know, a really great tip that we talk about in our YouTube show a lot is that if you're into a free camp area, you're just overnighting and you're not going to unhitch the vehicles, roll the back tyres of your tow vehicle up onto the ramps.
Yeah.
And that way it'll just slightly lift up your head.
Yeah, just give you a slightly better line. And we have tried and tested so many different versions of this over our 2.5 years on the road. And again, I think we've found a really good sweet spot where we can do that. The van is nice and level, and how awesome is staying hitched, especially when you're just rolling in and out overnight.
Love it.
Most times you'll rock up late in the afternoon and you chuff off early in the morning, so it really does make it easy.
Yeah, more time to have a wine and a chat to your neighbour.
Love it. Okay, now this I think was our number one tip. This seemed to be the tip that got everybody talking. We've received so many comments from people on this tip saying, oh my gosh, this is life-changing. Thank you so much. We can't take credit for it, but we will certainly tell as many people as we can.
Yeah, that's right. We were actually speaking to a guy who was actually watching us unhitch and hitch, and during the unhitching, he said, mate, look, I'm standing over there watching it. I just want to come give you some advice. He runs a caravan repair centre, actually, on the northern New South Wales, Queensland border there at Tweed Heads. And he said, if you put your vehicle into neutral before you have unhitched, you've chocked the wheels, you've still hitched, take the handbrake off the vehicle, take the handbrake off the van, put the vehicle into neutral, make sure that you have chocked those tyres.
Yes, very important.
And neutralise your vehicles, and the torque between both settles. You know, you haven't got that forces exerting against each vehicle. It settles, it neutralises. Then you can put your handbrakes on and you lift it straight off the vehicle. Unbelievable. It doesn't move forward. You can't squash your hand. So much safer.
Oh, look, it's a chalk and cheese experience. You're not dealing with the pressure on the tow ball or the pin, depending on what setup you have.
Yeah.
So it just comes off nicely. It's also a lot safer. The movement in the van is very minimal if you've already neutralised it and allowed that movement to take place before you unhitch.
Excellent. Number one tip that you'll get out of this, I'm sure.
Yeah, and look, and full details in the step-by-step process of that will feature in the ebook as well.
Fantastic. Okay, other things to really have on hand, bit of a rookie mistake, having spare hose adapters. The amount of times when you're starting off and you're like, I left the adapter on the hose at that last place.
Yeah.
Or you get somewhere and there it is.
Yeah.
You're hoping it's a brass one.
Yeah, look, we would definitely suggest have a nice little stock of these, whether it's for yourself or for that poor soul who rocks up and says, oh, man, I left it at the last place we were at. It's really good to have those on hand.
Also, get yourself a double adapter, okay? I'm talking about hose fittings here, so it goes straight onto the normal hose fitting, but it has two outlets and they can be closed off independently. We used one of these out there in Culgera.
Yes, in the Northern Territory.
Fantastic. We were the last people in, not enough taps for everyone, and we needed water. We're able to split it. Lifesaver.
Yeah, keep everybody happy as well. Paul's also mentioned the different length fresh hoses, and again, it's just a great little tip that's going to save you frustration and time too.
All right, what are we up to here? We've got gaff tape, lecky tape, zip ties, fence wire. I tell you what, if you have ever been camping and you didn't have those items, you probably found yourself in a bit of a bother, because at some point you're going to need one of these items. I tell you what, zip ties are incredible.
Yep.
Gaffer tape holds the camping world together. I tell you
Gaff
what.
tape holds the world together, babe. What can you not do with gaff tape? It is amazing.
If you are a bit stuck, you can YouTube bush mechanic ideas around camping to help you get out of trouble or to learn something before you set off. Fantastic. Roaming
the Outback,
a great YouTube series. We haven't met this gentleman, but I just love his no-nonsense approach to his videos.
Yep.
Clear, concise information, awesome. Roaming the Outback. Check that out.
Oh, and some of the things that he fixes in the middle of absolutely nowhere are just mind-blowing. Look, it's going to do the trick to get you out of trouble and get you into a town where there is a mechanic and somebody who actually knows what they're doing. So great tips.
Okay, small toolkit, pretty obvious, but make sure that you do have one of those on hand. Look, quite often your vehicles are together, but quite often you're not together as well. So we actually have a small kit in the caravan, and we have a small kit in the truck as well, and have some of those little screwdrivers, because you'll find them, you use those around the van as well. But if you've got kids, then you definitely need a set of those, because, you know, Thomas the Tank Engine has the tiniest little screws in it, and if he stops tooting,
you're in trouble.
There is trouble.
Yeah, look, and while we're on that, rechargeable batteries. We swapped everything over to batteries that we can recharge in the van. Of course, they're going to save you money. They might be a little more expensive, the initial outlay, but you're not going to be buying those packs of batteries over and over again. They're also much kinder on the environment, because you're not chucking a whole heap of used batteries into landfill.
Look, something that we would definitely give you advice on is don't recharge your batteries, your lithium batteries, while you're away from the van. It is highly unlikely that there's going to be a battery fire, but it happens, and there was a pretty tragic mishap the other week there here in Queensland with a battery fire. So it does happen. I mean, there's reasons why they make you package them and store them a certain way if you travel on planes. Battery chargers can overheat, and a lithium battery fire is pretty intense.
Yeah, absolutely. And good advice. Take that on board when you're asleep as well. You know, keep those things going through the day when you're awake and alert.
Okay, fantastic. We're going to look at fuses. Now, we have needed the use of fuses and not had fuses, and that's why we're sharing this point with you, is because it's an easy fix, some of these things. You know, the toilet stop flushing. It's a pain in the...
Well, it's kind of critical too, you know, like you really do need your toilet to flush.
And it was just a little, I think it was a 5 or 10 amp mini fuse, and I didn't have any. The fridge, you know, if you lose that starter to your fridge or something and it's relying on a fuse, you're stuffed.
Yeah, you are. And look, they're lightweight. They don't take up any space. So make sure you've got a selection of the different sizes as well.
And a couple of Anderson plug ends, and watch some YouTube on how to replace an Anderson plug too. It's really simple. Things are easy when you get shown.
How amazing is YouTube? You know, you just look up anything. Jasper asked me the other day, how are pencils made? And I said to him, mate, I've got no idea, but let's check it out. And we found this awesome video of this amazing pencil factory. And, you know, there we are, all educated. A new appreciation for pencils.
Amazing. All right, air compressor. Now, we get asked about this. Are you sure you really need one? Yes. If you are going to be adventuring in Australia, whether that's outback or in the ocean, you're going to need an air compressor at some point. You're in these remote places. Even if you're not in a remote place, you don't want to line up behind 20 guys trying to reinflate your tyres.
No, well, look, and certainly if you are planning to do a lot of kilometres around the country, you need to be checking those tyre pressures, whether you are adventuring off-road or not, you know. So having that there with you in your, I guess, your basic setup gear means that you can easily do that. You can be certain of your, you know, you've done your safety checks, you know where you're at, everything's in good stead.
And a really good tip from me, and this was a pretty big mistake, was that the coupling, if you've gone around and inflated or reinflated your tyres after being out adventuring, the coupling between the hose and the actual compressor is ridiculously hot.
Ouch.
Yeah, I burnt my fingers. Unbelievable. It's like they stuck to it. So just give it 5 minutes and then uncouple, or use a towel or a rag to uncouple.
Yeah, great idea. And also have some of those tyre pressure checkers. You know, we've got a couple, one with the air compressor and
Tyre
also
pressure checker.
a tyre pressure checker.
A good old tyre pressure gauge, that's right.
Yeah, that one. But you do want to be able to know where your tyres are at. It's probably one of the most important safety items. You think about it, that's what's keeping you safe on the road, is those tyres on your truck and on your van.
And we will talk about this in next week's episode, but there are the 4 C's of checking your tyres.
Yes.
That information is also included in the ebook.
Yes, very, very important information thanks to the Tasmanian Fire Service.
Thank you, guys. All right, safety and security. This is a huge one. We get more questions about this than anything else. And looking back, those first, 3 months, even up to 6 months on the road, we didn't do a lot of free camping because we were scared. We were gripping the wheel. I was driving so tight, worried about trucks so many worries and fears. And this information is hopefully going to help you.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, a big one for us, if you are a travelling family, you've got the grandkids going out on an adventure with you. If they are little, we're talking, little enough to be in the way, be a distraction and not actually physically be able to help you with an unhitching process, keep them in the car. We keep Jasper strapped in. He is not allowed to undo those car seat straps. He gets the iPad as a really good reward, and he is happy as a pig in mud. He knows that that's his time to get his screen time and do what he wants. That means Paul and I aren't distracted. We can actually get out, do what we need to do. Hitching and unhitching can be quite a dangerous process, and certainly not a process you want to have a distraction. And we've seen some pretty hairy stuff on the road with other families whose kids are running around the van, running in and out of the van as caravans are reversing in, as caravans are being unhitched. Look, it's just not worth it. So keep them in the car. That's our best advice. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Wheel locks, security system alarms. Okay, this is fantastic.
Yeah, look, we get loads of questions, particularly from the green nomads, people who are starting out, worried about, well, what if we, go to a free camp and we unhitch and we want to go off exploring? Is it safe to leave our van there? Is somebody going to come along, reverse up, hitch it up and drive off with it? Look, the chances of that happening are very slim. Does it happen? Yes, vans get stolen. We all know that.
Do you know mostly vans get stolen from the front yard of the owner?
Yeah, isn't that wild? Look, there are definitely things that you can do to secure your van from, wheel locks. We actually, when we started out, couldn't find a wheel lock wide enough for the wheels on our first van, and so we purchased a massive motorcycle wheel locky thing.
It's pretty well a massive chain that was wrapped in a hardened plastic. I think brand was Master.
Yes.
Yeah, and it did the job perfectly. It certainly put us at ease, but we were using it every time we even went over to the pub or...
Yeah, we were a bit mental about it. We're much more relaxed now.
Yes.
Look, you can get a hitch tow ball lock depending on what type of hitch and tow ball setup you have. There are also a number of new to the market security systems that you can have installed in your van. When we brought up safety and security in a recent episode when we were travelling through the very northern part of Western Australia, we had loads of comments come in about these security systems, and the WITI system, the WITI system, seems to be, I don't know whether it's the most popular or the best or the most marketplace saturated.
Australia's most advanced towing and safety and security system.
Yeah, loads of different features, that you can use to keep your rig safe, whether you are with it or whether you are without it. So definitely check that out.
And it seemed very affordable.
Yes.
As far as an outlay for that peace of mind. Yep. It immobilises your vehicle. It is a tracker as well if they do get away with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Lots of different features. So check that out. Some great advice that came in for us when we were talking more about personal safety, okay? If you're in your van and you're feeling worried or threatened, what can you do? You certainly don't want to be wielding a weapon because that can always be used against you, and that would be our advice. Don't wield a weapon unless you actually know what you're doing with it.
No.
Which is a bit scary to think about. But anyway, somebody said to us, most modern car keys these days come with that alarm that you can trigger on it. So keep your spare set of car keys in your little sleeping nook beside your bed, and it's an easy grab. You set off that car alarm. I mean, it is loud. There are lights and horns going. somebody's going to hear a commotion.
Great way to get attention.
Yeah.
It's almost like your own little mini panic button.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's lots of little things like that out of the box that you can think about to make yourself feel safe.
Yeah, look, my younger brother travels around the country as well, and he's in a transporter van that he's kitted out himself, which is pretty cool. And he carries a little bit of, I think it's like a wasp spray or something. So, I mean, that, has he ever used it? No. Has he been on the road a year and a half? But peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really what this comes down to, is making you feel safe so that you'll get out and adventure some more.
Okay, first aid kits, obvious, I think. But, stuff that's easy to do, it's easy not to do, I guess.
Yeah, look, and don't scringe and scrimp when it comes to this. Go out and buy the best damn first aid kit that you can find and make sure that it's got enough in there. And you might feel like it's overkill, but don't just think about yourself or your family. You want to make sure that if you're rolling down the road and you see somebody that needs help, that you're going to feel like you've got at least something there that you can help out in that situation.
Fantastic. And again, 80,000 kilometres, this is what we do full time. We've come across a number of accidents. It happens, and you do want to be prepared if you are required to help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Snake bite kit. Again, we live in a country that has, 7 of the world's 10 deadliest snakes, something like that. It's, phenomenal.
Yeah, lots of those animals that can kill you.
Yeah, they don't want to kill you, but they can.
Yeah.
So snake bite kit is a must in our opinion.
Yes.
One that you can leave in the car and then travel in your backpack if you're going out hiking. We love our hiking. In our particular pack, you can turn it over and there's an ID card, which is so important because then if you need to talk to someone on the phone, you can actually ID the snake. Great idea.
Oh, excellent. Again, it's just that prior preparation and that peace of mind knowing that you've got those tools there if, God forbid, you do need to use them.
And look, we would highly recommend that you go and do yourself a first aid course before you set off, whether you've got a family or not. Just, again, peace of mind that it will kick in if there was an incident.
And look, there's also some pretty incredible apps. We've included details of a load of different apps in our ebook, but certainly around this first aid, safety and security, there's some great apps that will assist you there as well.
Okay, towing course, four-wheel drive course. We'll talk about this a little bit more next week, actually, but 2 courses that, again, if you can educate yourself any further before you hit the road, awesome.
Yeah, it's so worth it. It's so worth the small outlay for what you're going to gain. I feel particularly for the partner or, the female in the relationship, the person who potentially isn't going to be doing the majority of the towing, of the driving, just to get that little bit of a confidence boost and to make things make sense in your head. And without disrespect, having somebody external to your relationship who is an expert in their field.
A real one, a paid expert.
Yes, a real expert saying to you, do it this way. It just makes things that much easier. It's going to save tension and stress between you and your partner. Well worth the money.
Okay, weigh your vehicles. There are some amazing weigh mobile guys that come out to weigh both your tow vehicle and your caravan.
Yeah.
We knew we had to get our vehicles weighed. We just kept putting it off, I think, because we didn't want to face the music. We thought, we're going to be over for sure. Yeah. We ended up doing a weigh-in up there in Darwin with the weigh check guys.
Yeah, Territory Weigh.
Fantastic.
Really great advice. Do it before you set off. Know where you are before you drive that first kilometre down the road.
Look, most of the time you're able to shift weight around and make it work and certainly make it safer. Or you might need to get an upgrade. You might need to look at changing the way you do things, leaving some of the things that you think you need at home. Yeah. It's just really great advice. You don't want to void your insurance if you were in an accident and you were overweight. Yeah,
that's a really good point. What I loved about our weigh-in was that the weigh-in bit's the easy part. That takes 15 or so minutes to get your rigs up on the scales and get the numbers and the data in. The education that you receive is priceless. As you said, Paul, knowing, okay, if we just shuffle a few things around, holy dooly, we've gone from being overweight to underweight.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. Know where you are before you set off. It'll just give you that foundation. Then you're going to know, oh, God, I've gone and done a grocery shop and I'm bringing in like 5 massive bags of food. It all adds up. So you'll know where your base level is.
Fantastic. A grab bag.
Yeah.
Again, this was from our own experience. I think it was around episode 10 or 11. We were up on the central coast of Queensland, just in from Rockhampton, in Yeppoon, and there was a massive fire on the beach that, in fact, was purposely lit by some crazy kids.
Yeah, look, we were totally unprepared. We hadn't even thought about natural disasters before we hit the road, or what would you do in that situation? So being prepared with a grab bag, which simply is exactly what it says it is. It is a bag that you have essentials in: a clean change of clothes, toothbrushes and toothpaste, some spare cash, any of those items that are essential. If you needed to seriously grab something and get the hell out, that's what you want in that little bag, and keep it packed and keep it somewhere where you can just grab and go if the hits the fan.
Good. And also have an evacuation plan.
It's just quietly, that's about as good as my whistle gets.
It's all right. The evacuation plan is something that was instilled in us both through our careers, and we have done quite a lot of travel before we were travelling full time around the world, and even on the Spirit of Tasmania. The first thing we do after dropping our bags in is go and walk, step out, pace in our head, count the steps to the muster station, look for alternative routes. If there's one road in and out of some of these amazing beachside locations, then you need to really think, okay, well, what happens if it does go south?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's not to scare you or worry you. It's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
It's to give you a little bit of
Good
peace
point.
of mind. If something does happen, and the chances are it's not going to, but if it does, you want to be prepared so that you can act calmly and you can get yourselves out safely. You don't want to be panicked in a panicked situation.
And we always make sure that we're both on the same page.
Yes.
If you came out of the door on the Spirit of Tasmania and one of you went left and one went right, not ideal.
Yeah.
You want to stick together. So, make sure you're on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. And it may sound a little overkill, but it will give you that peace of mind.
Okay, powder extinguisher. Your van, by law, should come with one, or your RV. We have a second one in the vehicle. They're a great version as an extinguisher because they pretty well work on anything. Fire blanket, again, we have one in the vehicle, one in the caravan as well. I have seen a fire blanket in use. I was actually on a small yacht with someone who shall not be named. And
you know who you are.
Yeah, and it was pretty scary in the moment, but this fire blanket, it was like it sucked the flames in. It literally just devoids the space of oxygen, and an incredible tool. You can only use them once. Let's hope you never have to, but great tool to have.
Yep, be prepared. Okay, here's another really good tip. Know where your hospital is. Where is your closest medical centre? How do you contact emergency services? If you are somewhere new, and whether you are in a, well-populated area and it's new to you, or whether you are remote in the outback in the middle of nowhere, just check. Do those checks when you're pulling up. Know what's around. How do you get in contact with the Royal Flying Doctors? Do that little bit of due diligence. Again, it'll just put your mind at ease. You don't want to be in a situation that is already going to be stressful, and, you're going to have those heightened emotions, panicking about, well, I don't know, who do I contact and where do we go and how do we deal with this? If you've got that knowledge is power.
Love it. Okay, we're going to move on to a personal beacon, some kind of personal satellite communication device. Of course, they're known as PLB, personal location beacons. Quite often these are used for people who are seafarers, out there, but they do make them a full land base as well. There's some that cross over both. We love and use a Garmin InReach Mini.
Mm-hmm.
We did get it on special. I think we saved about $80, but I still think it was just over $500.
Look, again, it's not a big investment when you actually really think about what this little baby can do. And to be honest, it's one of those things that you actually want to invest in, but really never want to use. You only want to use it if you find yourself in that terrible situation.
Look, its primary role is to trigger an SOS. However, like this particular one, Garmin Zoleo, which is a partly Australian-owned company, same sort of thing, different company, makes a similar price and a similar product. But they also allow you now to send up to, whatever your plan is, 10 texts that might say, hey, we've arrived safely, or send a tow truck, or, yeah, we're going to be 2 hours late. Predetermine some
Love
texts. Love your mum, yes. Love your dad. And you can send these texts as well. So we actually, with the Garmin, are on a $25 Freedom subscription. That's per month on top of the hardware cost. You can turn that subscription on and off. There's no additional fees. It's very, very good for peace of mind.
Yeah, it is. So we obviously turn our subscription on when we know we're going to be in more remote places. We turn it off when we are, traveling along the East Coast, for example, where help is pretty much 5 minutes away no matter where you are. So, yeah, really great to have. And again, peace of mind, prior preparation.
All right, tell someone where you're going. Seems very obvious, but again, one of those things easy just not to do. But we always speak to our neighbour and say, hey, we're probably going to be back around 6. We're heading out to Cameron Corner today.
Yep.
Should be good.
Yeah, look, and if you don't have neighbours, or you don't like your neighbours you're camping next to, phone home, send a message to somebody. Hey, we've got a great day ahead. We're going to be off grid for the next 8 hours. Check in with us at this time when we get home. Again, it's just that common sense. Let somebody know where you're going.
Fantastic.
Okay, carry some spare emergency cash. We live in a cashless society. Everything is just that little piece of plastic that you just wave in the air these days, or you hold your watch up and it, next minute you've got a coffee. It's pretty amazing. We've been caught out.
Oh,
now, this could be because you are traveling remote and there is no telecommunications service. FBOS machines are down. We fell into that trap when we were traveling Tasmania, and all of the Telstra network went down and we had no food for dinner. We were free camping out the front of a very inviting hotel. Come in and spend your money.
The wilderness.
We scrounged. We literally had our heads under the seats in the Hilux looking for 20-cent pieces.
Look, we had $17, which got us a glass of wine, and I think, was it a bowl of chips?
Something for all of us to share, you and I shared the glass of wine. But look, carry spare cash, and even have some spare cash in your grab bag as well, so that you know that that's where that is.
Okay, car mirrors. We love our MSA gear for life. Those mirrors, so important to make sure you've got visibility. We just have a great little window cleaner, some paper towel in the back of the ute, and we just clean them every day that you're traveling. Just
good habit to get into.
Run around, yep, really easy. Yeah. Okay, smoke alarms or a smoke detector and a CO detector. Your van should come fitted, obviously, by legislation. Our good mate down there, Adam Meredith from the Tasmanian Fireys, he recommended that if you have a family van, put one down in the kids' bunk area and put one over the main bed where the parents sleep, similar to a house. He said just treat it like a house. If there's a bedroom, put a smoke detector in there. Great advice. I think they only come with one, so extra safety for $25. They now come with a 10-year lithium battery, which means you don't even have to worry about it. You put the date on it and 10 years later you can check it.
Yeah.
The CO detector is excellent. Carbon monoxide, it is not a legal requirement here in Australia yet. It is in the USA for good reason. There are people that lose their life from carbon monoxide poisoning and you don't even know.
That's it. They call it the silent killer.
It's
mental. Odorless. You can't see it. you can't feel it. You know, you could have a gas leak and not know about it, and it could end in tragedy.
Terrible. I mean, and, you know, for, again, $25, $30 from Bunnings, Quell, Quell, that's the brand that we use.
Yep.
10-year lithium battery in that as well. Wow.
Awesome.
Amazing. Okay. Two-way radios.
Yes.
We love our two-way radios.
Yeah, look, they're a really important piece of your essential gear when you are travelling around Australia. You know, you want to be able to communicate not only with other caravanners, but also with the huge trucks and road trains that you are going to come across when you are certainly in more remote places. The other upside too, well, actually there's two upsides to having your two ways. Use them when you're reversing into a spot, you know, have one in the car for the driver, have one with the passenger or the person who's outside directing.
Especially if you don't have any mobile service.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Exactly. They're great to use for that. Saves you yelling to each other. It's going to save a lot of stress as well. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a bit more detail next week. Teach your kids to use the two ways. If you are traveling with children, they're fun. There are chatter channels. The kids will love using them and being able to play. But on a serious safety point, if you're in an accident and you're unable to make a phone call and reach for that radio, and your children know how to use it and how to call for help, that's life-saving. That could literally save your life.
Fantastic advice. And it's so good when we pull into a campsite. Jasper and I run off with the radio. Katie's got one. She calls us when dinner's ready. Jasper communicates with her.
It's lots of fun. It's really great.
All right, here we go. Maps and apps offline when out of service. We've got a list of those apps. I think there's about 20 with links for you to easily access them, a little bit of a bio on each of them in our ebook, which will be available next week.
Yeah.
And these maps that are able to be downloaded so that if you're out of service that you can still use them, fantastic. The details will be in the ebook.
Yeah, really important. Look, after researching all of this information for our ebook, the number one piece of advice for any outback regional tourism area is have those maps and have a physical copy if you can, because a lot of times those GPSs will pick up random, you know, roads that are station property roads, and, you know, you want to stick on those major highways. So maps are a really important part of your travel that I think in this day and age we almost overlook, because everything's, you know, I just look it up, I just Google it.
It is great fun too with Jasper, you know, to be able to sit and get his input into a map, you know, even if we've already decided where we're going, give him some directional sense, give him some geography. It's just awesome.
Yep, so good.
Okay, don't underestimate how huge Australia is. I mean, from a landmass point of view, it's almost as large as North America, the USA. I mean, over there they have 33 people per square kilometre. Here we have only 3. So you can be fairly remote. I mean, we stayed in Barcolden one time on a station, and I said to David, the owner, how far is it to the next camper, like where we are now? And he said, about 4 kilometres. 4 kilometres.
Yeah, it is awesome. It's amazing when you get out into these remote places. But again, just be prepared so that you can have a brilliant time.
Okay, trust your gut.
Oh, God. This is life knowledge, life wisdom right here. Trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, move on. If you pull up to a rest stop, doesn't feel right, move on. If you pull up to a free camp, something's not right, my tummy's a bit, trust it. It is intuitive. It is going to tell you. Don't set up somewhere just because somebody said you got to go stay there if it doesn't feel right to you. And you can apply this across any part of travelling.
Best way to figure that out is to pull up. There's other campers there. Go and say hi. You'll have a pretty good feeling straight away whether it's someone you want to be a neighbour with or whether they're a psycho.
I know. I love the comments that we got in around this. Like, people are like, yeah, too right, man. You're going to sort your neighbours out quickly.
It's a great way to make a buddy system. It's a great way to build trust. It's a great way to build community. So do say hello. That person, no doubt, has got some pretty good stories to share around the campfire with you.
Yeah.
You've created a buddy system. If you get into trouble, you need some gear or a tool, they probably have got it. Great.
Awesome. Trust your gut.
All right, know the details of your insurance policies because you do. We've talked about having an emergency contact list. You can include, next to kin, your parents' numbers, include your Medicare numbers, maybe your insurance policy numbers. If your phone's died and you couldn't access that information, great to have that on a list.
Yeah, look and read the fine print. Know the details of those policies. Know, okay, if we are overweight and God forbid we've had an accident, are we actually covered? Know this information, and there's plenty of resources out there, but definitely do your due diligence when it comes to your insurance policies. You don't want to get caught out.
Okay, guess what? That is it for this week.
Boom.
Wowzers. Next week is the big one. It is the episode that everyone seems to be talking about and wanting, and it is what we've learnt from our lap year and the things we would do differently.
Holy dooly, we're going to have to talk really quick next week because we have pages and pages of lessons and good advice and tips and tricks. I'm excited about it.
Fantastic. All right, we are going to leave it there. For now, we will say dream big, look after yourself, look after your family.
And happy trails.
Feel the journey, feel the love, feel good family.
Thank you. There you go.
Another one down.
Bump, bump, bump. Another one bites the dust.
It's so good. I actually really love this because I feel like in a little way, like we're pretty good campers now. We were so green at the start. And now when I look back at all of these notes and these lessons and things, I think, we actually,
we got this.
we do. It's good. Always learning though, and you've got to love that about putting yourself into a new situation. Always, always learning.
All right, let's do it. We'll say goodbye. See you next week. Have a good one. Bye.